So we came into this week with 8 teams, and then we dropped to 4. Now we only have 2 left. The number 1 and 2 seeds officially gone. The highest remaining seed would be the 3 Redemption, coming out with a big victory today, of course. And the Monstars upsetting the Serial Killers. Mike Davis with his first loss ever in the Legacy Leagues. The Napa Auto Parts of Stratford Championship Trophy up for grabs. A new name will be on the side of it. Obviously, Brotherhood gone, but Mike Davis not going to be taking it home this year. A bit of a surprise, you know. I know you guys all went chalk. We all thought the Serial Killers were going to pull it out. I could speak firsthand that the Monstars are tough. They made us look silly last night. And I think that they sort of shocked everyone here tonight against the Serial Killers because this was a Serial Killers game to win. And it sort of felt like it got out of control there in the fourth quarter.
Two words, Reggie Stewart. I mean, he scored 47 points, shot 71% on the night, 15 for 21 from the field. We all saw at the end of the game he came down and hit back-to-back threes in the final minutes. So, I mean, just hats off to the Monstars. They played a really strong game. Corey Jacobs fought through foul trouble. All those guys fought through foul trouble, but it was a great game.
He is a bad man, Reggie Stewart.
Reggie Stewart is a bad man.
He was shooting at will tonight, and it looked like no matter what they did, they just couldn't slow him down. You know, good defense doesn't stop even better offense, unfortunately.
He put the dagger in their heart and twisted it at the end, and it was him and Mike Davis were going at it the whole game, and Reggie just came out on top.
So obviously we talked about Reggie Stewart, unstoppable for the Monstars. Let's obviously 47 points, huge impact. But let's speak a little bit to the rest of that bench, deep bench, 9 players. What else went right for them tonight?
Well, I want to talk about the Serial Killers and how they did not play very good defense at all today. Serial Killers didn't show up today. I think starting in the first period, you're able to see the Monstars were able to run up and down the court scoring baskets. It was tough for the Serial Killers. Monstars overall, you know, we all said it already, Reggie Stewart was a beast today. Mike Davis wasn't able to put up with him. You know, in the last period, I think they did go on like a 9-0 streak then. They were just able to run away with the game then. But overall, Serial Killers' defense is what lost them this game, I think.
Yeah, I agree. They weren't able to set up their vaunted press that ran lob 2 or 3 out of the building last week, and I think that was the difference. They beat them inbounding the ball. They couldn't set up the press. They couldn't get the turnovers they wanted. Monstars controlled the tempo of the game, and that's what won them the game.
I think the Redemption, you know, we've talked about this a lot and around the arc too. That's a basketball team, right? Maybe not the most athletic, most talented team, but those guys understand the game of basketball very well, and you can tell, you know, they're coached well, and they understand their situations and their roles, and they're just a lot to handle. So I guess we might as well hop over that game. Redemption, run TMC. Zacho's luck runs dry. I know he's hiding behind the camera. He didn't want to host tonight. I can't imagine why. You get my pretty face instead. But again, tough loss down the stretch. You know, anytime you lose in a playoff game is tough. But especially a game where you feel like you have a chance to win. It was never out of reach for them, you know, and it sort of came down to those last 2 minutes, and it sort of slipped away.
Yeah, Scott Corchard and Jalen Graham combined for 48 points, over half of the team's points. They really dominated today. Although it was a back-and-forth battle for much of the game, what really helped Redemption seal the victory was they outscored Run TMC 21-14 in the fourth quarter, pulling away. But yeah, I mean, Run TMC should keep their heads up because it was a hell of a game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, sort of unfortunate for them that they limped into the playoffs, losing 2 straight, and they end up pulling that 7 seed. They had to go through a couple of tough teams. Obviously, they beat No Limit and Goon Squad, but it's curious to see where they would have been if they get that draw as a 6 seed or a 5 seed. But still, obviously impressive. You know, that's the seeding for this playoffs was interesting, right? Because Run TMC is definitely not the 7th best team in this league.
Goon Squad probably
absolutely.
Right.
So it's interesting. It's sort of how the cookie crumbles. You know, Run TMC and Redemption are 2 very disciplined teams that do move the ball very well. A lot of good chemistry, aren't at each other's throats. They seem to get it. Much different dynamic there. What do you really think? You know, a very close game. Obviously, the final score was a difference of 8, but much closer throughout the whole way. What do we really think was the difference down the stretch for that game?
I think, like Ryan was talking about, it's been pressing, the full court press, that trap that Redemption has really mastered. Once they did that, they really, you know, got that advantage over Run TMC and outscored them in the fourth quarter. So that's really what led to their success. And, you know, Jalen Graham, the MVP, just took advantage of it.
Defense. Defense wins championships, and I think that's something that goes for all sports.
Yeah, I felt as though Redemption did a good job of neutralizing Matt Zacho. He sort of looked out of sync from behind the arc, which is sort of his strength. And when he's not hitting shots, stretching the floor, obviously, Joey misses a couple threes too, so they don't have to account for him. The defense doesn't stretch as much. You don't get as many of those open looks for Kevin Blake and Will Hudson down low. Now we're left with the 5 and the 3. You got Redemption and Monsters. Monsters not willing to give those powers back yet to Muggsy and Jordan. And, anyone? Space Jam? Nothing? Crickets out here. Unbelievable.
It's been 20 years.
Space
so-
Jam's
It's 20 years?
Space Jam's a lit movie, right?
It's the best.
They're
the
gonna
best,
they're
the
gonna
best
remake it
children's
and ruin
movie.
it probably.
Yeah,
That's
well,
whatever.
we don't need
That's
it.
another topic.
Anyways, so we have next week, obviously, we have our championship game. That's going to be on Tuesday night. Monday will be All-Star night. Obviously, you get the All-Star game and Duncan 3-point. That's going to be exciting. Obviously, if anyone in part of the league wants to come and join us, DJ Steo is going to be here. We'll get some music. It'll be a good time. But let's, quick little preview. I want to hear picks for the finals. We got Redemption, we got Monstars. Are we going chalk? Are we going Redemption? Are we going Monstars? What do you think? We'll start with you, Ben.
I'm gonna go with the Monsters. I'm gonna buy into them after today. They played a really tough game. Their defense is they're ferocious on the defensive.
It's hard to bet against Reggie right now, right?
It is.
Yeah, I would agree. Go ahead.
After watching that last game, I think you're right. I mean, I really thought the Serial Killers were the team that were going to take home the trophy, but I got to give it to the Monsters for their versatility.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll play devil's advocate. I'll take Redemption. I like the team game in the playoffs. They got the MVP, Jalen Graham. I know that you could put Reggie and Corey on him and maybe neutralize him a little bit. That dynamic duo that you guys were alluding to before, Scott and Jalen, is just tough to match up with. And I also like their size. They're bigger than Monstars, and I just like to see how that affects the game as well.
I'm going to go with Monstars. Once again, with their size, they're going to overcome Redemption. I think they're going to be able to neutralize Jalen Graham. And they've been on a hot streak. There's no denying that, and I think it's just going to continue until they win.
It's funny how when the day starts, everyone wants to go chalk, and then Monstars pull an upset, and everyone wants to flip sides. It's interesting.
Well, I can't stick with my original pick. They're not in it anymore.
Very true, very true. But it's been a week of firsts, right? No Limits first loss, Kevin Rivera's first loss ever in Legacy Leagues, Serial Killer's first loss, Mike Davis' first loss. Next week we're going to get a first name on the trophy that doesn't say the Brotherhood. So obviously stick around. Like we said, next Tuesday, championship game. Redemption, Monstars. Be sure to check back. It's going to be a great game. I know we're all excited. I can look at the looks on your faces. Can't wait, right? For Matt and Ryan and Ellis and Ben. That was a long pause, right? Were you worried I forgot your name? And I'm Tyler. We will see you guys next week for the All-Star night on Monday and for the championship on Tuesday. Have a good night.